Achilles' treasure chest concealed. Oft procreation the quadrangular known. By royal deed the revelation known. Corpses hung in public view. War declared, Arles refuses to fight. At night, soldiers astonished, black, white, and indigo concealed on land, under the false shadow revealed as traitors. After the naval victory of France upon those of Barchignon, Salinon by the people Faussin, instead of gold, an anvil pitched within. Those of Toulon to the fraud shall consent. The Duke of Langres besieged at Dole, allied by those of Autun and Lyon. Geneva, Augsburg joined those of Mirandole, passing over mountains against those of Ancona. Wine spilled upon the table. The third does not have her that which he intended. Twice from the Black One of Parma descended. Shall do to Perouse and Pisa what he intended. Naples, Palermo, and all Sicily, uninhabited by barbarian hands. Corsica, Salerno, and the island of Sardinia. In them famine, plague, war, and endless evils. Combat of the great light horses. They are claiming the great crescent is confused. In the mountains, killing by night, clothed as shepherds. Cardinals in the deep ditch abysmal. Florence, flee, flee, the Romans nearing, fighting at Fiesole, bloodshed. The greatest ones captured in hand, neither church nor sex spared. A lady absent of her great captain, by the viceroy courted, false promise, misfortunate love, between the hands of the Prince of Bar. The great prince near Le Mans, brave and valiant general of a great army, by sea and land with French and Normans, passing Gibraltar and Barcelona, the island plundered. The royal child despises his mother, eye, feet wounded, rude, disobedient. News to the lady very strange and bitter. Killed of hers above 500. The great younger brother ends the war. Before the gods assembled the excuses. Cahors and Moissac go beyond his bounds. Rufus, Lestor, those of Agen cut down. Of the maritime city and tributary, the shaven head takes the government, expels the sordid one who is against him. For 14 years he will keep the tyranny. Exposing the false topography, the urns of the monuments opened. Sect art and holy philosophy multiply, for white, black, and new for old. Before the city of the Insubrian land, 7 years the siege is laid. Into it enters a very great king, freeing the city from the enemy. The impenetrable gate erected by the great queen, rendering the place powerful and inaccessible. The army of the 3 lions defeated. Hideous and terrible things this day. The prince, rare in pity and clemency, gives peace to his subjects. With peace, great understanding. After great rest, the kingdom troubled. The besieged disguised their plans. 7 days later, making cruel attack. Beaten back, fire, blood, 7 hacked to death. The lady made prisoner who endeavored to make peace. The fort of Mycenae not fought against. By shining metal it is overcome. This deed debated a long time. A strange, fearful thing to the citizens. Ambassadors of the Tuscan language, in April and May, crossing the Alps and the sea, the Vitellenses express concern that the French way of life not be effaced. Through the pestilent enmity Italian, in secret to chase the tyrant, the bargain made at the bridge at Sorgue to put him to death, adherents too. The citizens of Mesopotamia, angry with friends from Tarragon. Plays, laughter, feasts, population put to sleep. Vicar at Rhone, city taken by those of Ausaunia. The royal scepter constrained to take that which his predecessors had mortgaged. They mislead about the ring when they come to sack the palace. He who was buried comes out of his tomb. He makes the fort of the bridge to be tied with chains, poisoned with the roe of a barber, the great one of Lorraine, by the Marquis du Pont. Exhausted army through long war, that for the soldiers no money to pay. Instead of gold and silver, they coined leather. Gallic bronze and the crescent sign of the moon. Foists and galleys, around 7 ships, a mortal war engaged. The chief of Madrid receiving blows from arrows, 2 escaping, 5 brought to land. The fortified walls destroyed by the great cavalry, hindered by baggage near Ferrara. Suddenly at Turin, such a blow. stealing their hostage from inside the fort. The captain leading his great hall over the mountains, the enemies near. Surrounded by fire, he makes away. All escape except for 30 burned. The great Duke of Alba rebels, betraying all his forefathers. Conquered by the great man of Guise, led captive, and a monument erected. The plundering approaches, fire and great bloodshed. Po, great rivers, the enterprise of idiots. Of Gênes, Nice, after they stayed too long. Fossano, Turin, the capture of Savigliano. From Languedoc and Guyenne, more than 10,000 wanting to cross the Alps again. The great Allobroge marches against Brundis. Aquin and Breche beat them back. One born from humble domain to Mount Royal tyrannizes over the bank account and vault, raises a force in the land of Milan, Ravenna and Florence drained of gold and men. A kingdom and its forces spoiled by fraud, the fleet blockaded, passages for the spies, two false friends agreeing together to awaken hatred a long time dormant. The nation of France in great regret, vain and light-hearted, believing rashly. They have neither ale, bread, salt, no wine, nor drugs. Their noblest captive, hunger, cold, and wanting. The candidate they bewail and bemoan for having elected, deceived in his age, not long staying with them, deceived by those of his own language. God, the heavens, all the divine word all over the ocean, carried by red ones, 7 shaven heads to Byzantium. Against the anointed 300 from Trabzon. They passed 2 laws. First horror, then belief. Ten sent to put the captain of the ship to death. Notified by one, the fleet in open war. Confusion. The leader and another stab and bite each other. L'Airain, the Isle of Hyères, Cap inside the darkness. The elder royal upon a prancing horse, spurring so fiercely that it bolts, open mouth, the foot in the stirrup cord, dragged, pulled, horribly dying. The leader of the French army expects to lose the main phalanx upon the pavement of Avaigne and Slat, the foreign nation sinking in the ground by Gênes. Inside casks smeared outside with oil and grease. Before the harbor, 21 are to be shot. At second watch, by death, they do great feats to win the gates, then killed by the watch. The bones of feet and hands in shackles, the house uninhabited for a long time because of the noise. By a dream, the buried are unearthed. The house is healthful and inhabited without noise. To the king's kitchen, 2 newcomers, provided with poison, to pour in the kitchen of the great prince, the scullion catching them both in the act. Taken he that thought by death to vex the elder.